Hello everyone, this is Janet from Mixed Media Mama. Thank you so much for coming back and welcome all you new members. I would have been so inspired by Else from Elizabeth Craft Design that she did a video that she was using, I believe, Angelica Turner's new collection, and it was of how to make snow or even ornaments out of paper. They were just really beautiful. And I will link that video below. However, since I am a team member, design team member on David's team of Art Journal Special, he just released a brand new collection and it is so fun to work in. It is called December Romance, and I am going to show you how to use this Ice Doily to make Christmas tree ornaments. So come along with me. First of all, the first one, I use Elizabeth Craft Designs, the soft finish cardstock, and I die cutted 4 pieces. And after I had die cutted, this is just an example to show you, after I had die cutted, I used the sprays that I had on hand. And I want to really encourage you to use your own inks, sprays, mediums, whatever you have on hand, because that is why we bought them. Sorry, I needed to get a drink of water. So what I am using, I love my mixed media. I love all kinds of goops and sprays, and so this is what I had on hand. I am using weathered wood in the Distress Oxide spray, the Winter Frost and the Mica stain, and the brush Pewter in the Mica spray, Distress Mica spray. I believe these were last year's Christmas, but I still had them on hand, so I used them. So what I did after I got all 4 pieces, these pieces right here, all set up onto my glass plate, I just started with the lightest, and I make sure when you are using any sprays to shake them up first extremely well so you don't have any of the mica in the bottom. Now I know this is and all of the oxides and stuff. I just see how quickly I just used that and it still has settled down. So I'm not going to use those today, but make sure you shake your sprays up no matter what they are. I just set these kind of in a quad like this when they were all white like this one, and I just started spraying, and I dried between each layer. I went from light to dark, and that's how I got this. You can kind of see that shimmer, and then I went back and I muted that shimmer down with the Weatherwood Oxide spray, and so it's not so shiny right there. You still have a little sheen. I'm gonna go a little closer. You can still see a little sheen, but not as, and I like that variegated look. That's how I roll. So anyway, I already glued these 2 together, and I'm just using my Barely Art glue. It works really, really, really easy. So what I then did is I just very carefully brought the 2 sides together, and I wanted just to make sure that they match. And I just so kind of gently folded it so it can have like a, maybe a 90-degree angle right there. So it will fit right here. But here's the trick I have learned, and I am going to bend this one also. I'm just eyeballing it. There's just really no, I'm just very gently, and I'm not going to the end. And just so it kind of bends a 90-degree angle. So basically I'm going to glue these two together. So if you just humor me, and how I'm going to do this is that I'm really going to basically just put glue kind of in a little bit. I'm not going to, since this Ice Doily has so much detail of pieces here, I'm not going to glue everything. Just enough that it will go together. Especially these out ones. So basically I just kind of went right through here. And you line it up as best as you can. And you just press it down. Don't worry if it's not perfect. It's way overrated anyway. Perfection, that is. So then, I got this one already done. So then we're just going to do the same to both sides. Now I'm going to kind of work fairly fast here. There we go. I think I'm in screen. Because this Barely Art Glue does dry. However, I have learned a trick. Sometimes when this, because this Barely Art Glue is kind of transparent, when it dries, if it starts to turn a little bit transparent before you get it together, just pinch it, squeeze it, rub it. The friction alone will help connect the two pieces, even if it is a bit transparent. I've done that before and it sticks really well. I can kind of see that, but it works, it works. I'm gonna work on one side first. There, that's much better. So see, I have, and it's kind of open on the inside. You can kind of see it that way. That doesn't, oh, I gotta keep on pinching. It doesn't bother me because there you have it. You have your, there we go. You have your snowflake tree ornament. So that is the basic structure. And what I did elsewhere, I just took some thread because that's what I had on hand. And it's just a kind of a heavier cotton thread. That's what I always do when I decorate or make my own tree ornaments. So when I'm going to put in, I'm going to put in, this is usually always the harder part than anything else. I put them between the two opposite two opposite doilies. This one and that one, or this one and that one. Because then when I pull it through, it pulls both of them together. Right there. So there is my Christmas tree ornament. It really is, and you can make all kinds of colors. I'm really kind of doing a blue, ice blue theme this Christmas, but I wanted to show you that's really easy. You just took 4 of these, colored them up however you want. Now, this is just sprays, so there is really the shimmer from the mica from the sprays. I wanted to show you a few other ones that I did, and get my glue closed here, because it's still using the same die. I was really experimenting earlier this morning. Actually, I experimented with this. Still cut 4 out of here, out of the same cardstock, the soft finish cardstock from Elizabeth Craft. However, if you look really close, you can kind of see it is really kind of a grayish soft. What I did is that I was experimenting with Tim Holtz Spritz, the Distress Spritz. Now these you have to shake up extremely well. I store these just on the side so the nozzle doesn't get plugged. And so anyway, I sprayed while they were not attached to each other. I sprayed 4 of them with the Distress Spritz really, really well. And then I dried them. This is Weatherwood. It's one of his first sets that came out. And I dried them, folded them like normal. No, before I folded them, I dried them, and then I took them and put them through the Versa mark, because I thought, here's FYI, I have a lot of this rock candy. This is Tim Holtz Distress Rock Candy. I got it in the big because I thought, you know what, that would be really cool to make like a frosted snowflake. However, I'm learning from this is that I inked every one of these up on this one, sprinkled rock candy on it, let it set overnight, thinking that the ink will dry and the rock candy glitter would, and because it makes it a really soft finish, to let it dry completely. However, I think rock candy needs a little bit heavier ink, glue, because on the bottle it says that you can use it with a matte medium or gel medium to adhere the glitter, the rock candy glitter, to your project. However, I did glue this. A lot of the rock candy fell off. However, I can still feel it. I don't know if you can kind of see it. It makes it really fuzzy and soft, kind of like a caterpillar soft fuzzy. And I really kind of like it. I think it's really cool that overnight, waiting overnight, you can kind of see my fingers. It did dry it, and however, so this was kind of an unexpected accident. I really do like it. And then again, I just used my thread. So that is number 2. I'm going to set those to the side. This one, I've been wanting to make a same die. I cut 2 of these out, but this time I also cut this. What I did is that I'll grab a piece of paper here. I took the base plate and set the die in there and put a little bit of washi tape because I wanted to have that frame all the way around. Die cutted that twice, all right? So that then gave me a frame. I did the same process, use whatever you want. I knew I wanted this to be darker, like a metal ring. So once I cut 2 sets of this ring and the Ice Doily, I glued them together. I glued the 2 pieces of the Ice Doily together, and I glued the 2 pieces of the outline together. Then I colored it however you want to color it. I was experimenting with my spritzes, so I was using the Uncharted Mariner, the Weatherwood, and Peacock feathers. You use what you have. So the outside, I really used the Weatherwood, probably 4 or 5. And then I came back with my Scorched Timber Distress ink, and I went over it. And then I spritzed it again of the Weatherwood, and that's what makes it so dark. So this right here is that I spritzed it with Weatherwood around, and then I took the lighter Peacock feathers and I spritzed on the inside. I did this to both sides. I spritzed it on the inside, dried it, flipped it over, spritzed it on the inside, dried it. Did the same thing with Uncharted Mariner, spritzed it on the inside, dried it, spritzed it on the flipped it over, spritzed it on the inside, and dried it. However, with this, I made sure it was fully dried. Both pieces are glued together. However, with this one, I took embossing glaze. You can take whatever glaze, whatever clear embossing powder. I just put it through the Versamark. I pressed it in there. I did one side at a time, and I put the glaze over it. You can do, it works better if you have a clear embossing glaze to use that, because I really wanted this inside, and you can kind of see that inside's a little bit glossier than the outside, but because I put more glaze right here. I used a light blue, I think it was it was Speckled Egg. It was a really light blue, but it really enhanced the colors that I had on it already. You use what you have. I would suggest a clear embossing powder would work just as fine. And then I heat gunned it to dry and to have that glaze. But here's a little tip, and I've said this before, I believe in a last video, is that once you have a glaze or embossing powder and you get it too warm, there's a fine, maybe a second, you'll start to see that the embossing powder will almost liquefy and the color will separate. You will get lighter color areas versus darker color areas. I wanted to do that. That is what this area is, lighter color. I held the heat on quite a long time because I wanted to have that separation. Basically, it's right before you start burning your embossing powder. And you'll know when you burn it because it'll start to smoke. But if you turn it off really quick, and it'll harden right away. So that's what I did, and then I let it cool. I flipped it over, did the same thing. Ran it through the Versamark, poured over embossing powder, heated it, and accented that. Then I just took some string that I took through some vintage photo embossing ink, vintage photo ink, tied it onto the lower part of this Ice Doily, and then because I wanted it to be like this with the frame, and then I tied it onto. I'm not a good person for knots, but it seems to work. So there, I took the same die and made a different ornament. So it kind of dangles like this. Isn't that just... I love that. I thought that was kind of a happy accident. So today I made 3 ornaments, very similar in the same, from the same die. Just wanted to share that with you. Like and subscribe down below, and I will link all the information down there too. Have a great day. Until next time, see you in the next video. Bye.